Is there a point you can own too many board games?
Well, we'll answer that question and so much more on this week's Board Games and Coffee.
Welcome to Wisco Dice. Hey, you folks, I am your host, the Conesy with the Most, and I am joined today by.
Hey, I'm Suzanne.
And today is another episode of Board Games and Coffee. Woo!
Woo!
So, if you haven't didn't catch the last episode, this is our second episode of this,
Yep.
where we sit down with a cup of coffee, catch up with viewer comments, questions, and just general board game chatter,
Yeah.
banter, whatever we feel like talking about today. So we try to do this on a regular basis. I don't know if it'll be weekly or whatever, but so far so good. And it was really exciting to see all the comments from last episode.
Yes, those were great. Keep them coming. We love hearing what others in the board gaming community are doing, are thinking about, and your opinions about our opinions. Those are great to hear also.
Yes. So if you want to be featured, just like some of the folks we're about to feature, make sure you leave a comment down below. And don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already subscribed and click that like button. Those things help us out so much being able to grow the channel and get that reach out to more and more board gamers so that we can continue making great content just like this.
Yes, we want to know what you guys like also, so we're putting out stuff that you enjoy watching.
And most importantly, let us know what coffee you're drinking. Just like Best at Star Trek 2179 said about the Hawaiian blend from Costco that he was drinking, mostly on weekend mornings. But hey, whenever you have a chance to sit down and enjoy your coffee with a great YouTube video, that's perfect for us.
Yes, I'm usually only allowed coffee on the weekends. That is the rule in this house, generally.
Generally, it's not.
So, but
you get a little
yeah.
bouncy.
So as this video goes on, my energy may get more and more. But yeah, I've heard that Hawaiian coffee at Costco is pretty good. But Ben, what is our coffee of choice again this week?
Oh, we have Arriba from what is it?
From Just Coffee Cooperative,
Yeah.
which is a coffee cooperative here in Madison. They don't sponsor anything. I just think it's fun when he says
Arriba. I was saying that a lot this morning. I wanted some coffee.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
Of course, then we had another great comment from J Rath Camp 921, who is really excited to find a fellow Wisconsinite YouTube channel. So hey, J Rath Camp 921, glad you found us.
Yes.
Yeah, I think you subscribed. I think we saw you subscribe last time, but if you haven't, make sure you do that. And don't forget to like. Shame you're not in Wisconsin anymore. We'd love to play some games with you. But if you ever do make it out here, again, make sure that you let us know in the comments or shoot us an email or something so we can try to hook up. Of course.
To play some games.
To play some games, yes. Thank you. Go Badgers.
Yes.
Yep.
Take those Badgers. Glad you're spreading the Badger fun all the way out to Oregon.
Yep, absolutely. So there's nothing greater than a little board games and the other great things that I attribute to Wisconsin, which are beer, cheese, and well, for me it's the Green Bay Packers, but of course the Wisconsin Badgers as well.
Yes.
All right. No controversy in those football opinions, by the way. Feel free to like whatever teams you like. It's okay.
Yes.
It's absolutely okay. Let us know who you like in the comments below, of course. Always not a board gaming conversation, but hey, we can talk about that too. The next comment that we wanted to call out here was from user OL5TK3TD5J. Go random characters. But his comment was in specific to the Magic the Gathering stuff that we talked about. So we had just picked up that 2-player starter.
Yes, my first experience with Magic.
Yep. We both been playing on Arena now, going through kind of the learn how to play.
Yeah, the color challenges. I'm very slow at it, I guess. I'm not a natural Magic player.
When
So
you're coming at it from your first time, really learning the game
yeah,
and learning how things combo and work together, and it
yeah.
is really a. I think in order to be good at it, you really have to figure out the ways to combo things to maximum effect as quick and to get it to happen as quickly as possible. So, yeah, I
It's fun to explore
honestly
the different colors on it, and
Honestly, I'm playing. I was playing Arena quite a bit this past week, and yeah, it's kind of addicting. It's because it's fast, it's quick. Well, sometimes my games were quick. I guess there were some couple of games where I was playing. You get to the end of the color channel challenge, and it matches you up against like somebody online, and
yeah.
some of those games could take a little while, like because we're not necessarily playing. Um, at least I wasn't necessarily
Well,
playing fast moving decks yet, so.
yes. So I've not yet made my own, ventured into making my own deck. I'm not. I'm gonna get there. Hopefully in the next month,
Yep.
if not
So
sooner. We'll see how much I play online first, and
yeah, it was amazing how many card packs too that were just free that it threw at me. So I don't know if you discovered that, but
yes.
yeah, it just like tons of card packs that it just. Of course, it's probably the first hit for free. Give you a little sample of card packs so you can buy some more virtual card packs.
I know. I've had my eye on some more physical cards
I would.
recently, which we may not want to go to a game store anytime soon.
Well, that's probably okay. Maybe it can happen sometime later this week. I mean, I'll be at the game store tomorrow, so hey, we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
I think the nice thing about something like Magic the Gathering versus like board games and whatnot is that you can like I always feel obligated when I'm at a game store to buy something, and it's an easy thing to just buy a couple of packs
Right. Yeah.
of like that. I mean, I would love to do it with Lorcana too, but you can't find it on the shelves. Maybe soon, I don't know, but right now I basically can't find it on the
Right.
shelves. So it will be really nice to see with Magic. It's a really nice because there's so much product out there. It's easy to just be able
Just
to
to
go in, buy a
grab
couple
up.
of packs, and feel like, hey, I met that obligation. I helped out my friendly
And
local game store.
I mean, and this goes back to when I was a kid and was getting the packs of baseball trading cards. It's just fun for me to open it and see what I have and see what duplicates and
Yeah, absolutely.
yeah.
Not that this is a Magic the Gathering show, but it is definitely in the world of tabletop gaming.
What else we got on there?
One other comment that we had that I wanted to bring up was, again, this is a second comment from Best at Star Trek 2179. It is Sunrise Lane, which is a new board game from
Riser Knizia.
Yes.
And,
Yes.
yeah.
Yes, it's a
Yep,
new Rider
Horrible
Knizia.
Guild is publishing it
Yep.
here in the US. It's a Riser Knizia game. It's all about like we saw this and I think I'd heard about it in passing and went and looked it up and you're building this like housing development basically.
Yeah, like yeah,
Residential place and you've got different height buildings, you've got cards, you got colors to match, you got your own little set of buildings,
multiple paths to victory, multiple ways to score points,
which is nice.
So yeah, certainly you want to build on all the prestigious slots because they give you the best rewards. But if you're kind of all over the neighborhood versus having your stuff all kind of together or in certain regions in the neighborhood, it really makes a big factor to scoring. This game, it's apparently available now. And at least it looked like I could buy it on Amazon for like $35 US.
Oh, that's
So like that is like looking at the
to
quality of components and stuff like that. That looked like a ridiculously good game. I don't know what the MSRP actually is for this game, and price may vary for you, obviously. But yeah, I mean, for that kind of price point, this game looked really good for what you were getting for that price point.
Yeah, and it was. I looked at what it was listed as the categories of types of games on BGG. One thing it did not say was that it was an abstract game, but I felt like reading through the description and everything that it gave me some feelings of an abstract game, which I know Conesy really enjoys. So I felt looking at this that it gave me this, hey, kind of not really tile placement, but kind of this placement, building something, creating something. I love terraforming games type of thing. and the abstract that you like, this was potentially a really good game for us.
Yeah.
So
I like games where, and I think the looking at the components and whatnot, this is going to give you a tactile feel of like the buildings look like
yes,
buildings
there's stuff to
versus
play
just
with
kind of
as you.
abstract
Yeah.
like looking, tiles.
Yes,
So I'm
it's
really,
3D.
yeah, I'm really
Yes.
looking forward to potentially getting this to the table. Like for that price point, I can't see why we wouldn't get it and add it to the collection. Which then leads us, I think, right into the hey, acquisition disorder is a real thing,
Yep.
and
With lots of different
we
hobbies.
we suffer. Yeah, with basically all of our hobbies. We were at the Model Railroad store yesterday, and I had to walk away with more rolling stock and things. Like I was there for specific stuff, but ended up with a lot more.
And I guess I kind of gather stuff for craft. Like if the craft store was closer, it'd be really bad for me. So
Yeah, it was. I was kind of surprised you managed to resist buying another model to put together, but
I
you're doing a lot better
I
than I
have
do.
allocated space for the unfinished models that I
I
have.
need to get a coat of yellow on your
My
your
current
current car so that you can get
I
that
need to get
finish that
my
up.
Malifaux figures primed, and then I can start moving on.
Today looks like a great day for priming, so we should get them out there. So, anyways,
Yep.
yep.
Back to the topic at hand, having too many board games.
Yeah,
So
obviously we have
we
way too
have a
many games and
lot.
other hobby interests that are going on, and when you have that, you have tend to have at least we do, and I know a lot of gamers have is this need to just own everything, to buy everything, to own
Hmm.
everything, and this industry definitely I think I'd like to say it preys almost on that a little bit, right? It preys the way Kickstarters are marketed, the way crowdfunding is marketed. Oh,
Hmm.
the FOMO is real, the fear of missing out is real, and then limited print runs or
Yeah.
print runs of games, and it might not get printed again. So it's like, ooh, I'm interested in this game, I want to play it, I better buy it now. And there are certainly publishers that I know that are very good, publishers like Capstone Games and Fantasy Flight Games and whatnot, that if they have titles that are successful, they're very good at getting reprints out there, new print
But
runs.
this,
Days of
there's,
Wonder,
yeah.
another good company for doing print runs. So like I'm a little less nervous if they have a hot game and I miss out right away.
Sure, makes
Like we
sense.
missed out on Heat, Pedal to the Metal right away on its initial
Oh, but
release,
we
but
haven't
then
seen
it's
it.
like it
We
re-released
got
within
it,
like 6 months, and hey, we were able to snag a
and we
copy.
had friends that, or you had friends that had it.
Yep, I had a
So
friend. Yep,
I
Larry, if
mean,
you're watching, thanks for getting me hooked on that one.
yeah. I mean, so that is one thing that we have for going for us is that we have a very varied and expansive gaming group of friends,
Yes,
and so if we're not able to get a game,
it
usually someone else has it.
yeah
But
it
then it does, it's
games games tend to show up in a lot of different board game collections. Now, whether that means we have regular access to a game to be able to like do a
right.
review or something on it, that's a challenge. But how we we joke a lot that we had to buy a new house to basically have enough space to store all of our board games after our daughter moved out.
Yep.
So
And
that is kind of
we
a realistic
it
joke.
was yeah, it was our board game collection was expanding to the point that we needed more space for
I
it.
mean,
And I mean, what do we do every year? What do we do, Conesy?
yeah, so this is like one of the things you can do to manage a massive collection. And I feel like this is a critical thing that you have to do. And that is call. You have to call out titles. So what we do every year around the first of the year
Mm-hmm.
is we do a yearly call. We don't do it during the year. We sit down and so we log every game that we play, so we know we can look at what games did we play last year, what games haven't we been playing maybe the last couple of years. Is there a reason why we're hanging on to some of those titles? Is there some kind of like there are a few titles in the collection like the our original copy of StarCraft the board game with the Brood War expansion. Those are kept in the collection. They don't get to the table very much, but they're a very high value board game. It's worth a pretty good chunk of money, and it's a game that's never going to be reprinted. And it's a game I really enjoy, and I don't know that you've had the
I've
pleasure
not
of getting it
actually been able to
actually to
play
the
it.
table. So
I mean, and then there's also games like Doctor Who Yahtzee that we keep in there because our
well,
daughter loves
that's
Yahtzee and loves Doctor Who, and though
that'll
we haven't played it for years,
that'll
it's
move out with
just
her, but
it's one that
that's
we're
it's already
holding
on
on
the
to for the grandkids.
it's already on the
Otherwise,
call list. She's gonna move it out with her at some point.
but there are some games that we keep because if we ever have younger players over here,
There are a few
they're
of those.
the ones that we
the
just want
more
to have on hand.
common classic kind of games,
Yeah.
right? So we do have a few of those in the title or
That
titles
have
in the library.
emotional, ties.
So, but there is a huge swath of games. We don't come close. Like we're close to 800 titles, I think, this
And
year.
we're up to that already.
Yep.
I guess it is the end of the year.
Yeah,
so.
I think there's a number of titles that need to get logged into the collection. Of course, being content creators as well, we do receive review copies now, which is just adding to the extra collection of games that are being added to the library, which is not a bad thing, by the way.
No,
We're not, please send us, if you're a publisher, please send us an email at hosts@wiscodice.com, and we'll let you know where you can send review copies that we can mention or bring up on the audio show or the podcast or the YouTube videos or whatever.
I mean,
right?
I will say one thing with when we get the review copies is they do get prioritized to play versus some of the ones that I'm excited about as a Kickstarter or like as a crowdfunding that then a year later I get it and then it gets set on the table of opportunity and then it just kind of goes, gets buried on it.
A good one. We the first game we ever played on this table, Spirit Island, right?
Yep.
That was the only game in 10 titles that we both picked that was on both of our lists to play. So we played that as our first game.
To cushion this table.
Yep, for the first game. And turns out, we got the on Backer Kit, the latest expansion stuff, the huge expansion to the game. Was released. We have yet to get that to the table
and
because
we love Spirit Island.
Oh, we love it. Absolutely love that game. But it's been
So I think the thing is you can have too many games.
Yes.
Based on what you can play, in whatever time frame you want to say. Like give yourself a year or 2 years or every 6 months. Whatever your time frame is, and the space that you have. Like, board games are great, but if you don't necessarily, I'm assuming everyone has some friends that aren't gamers, and you don't necessarily decorate your whole living space with tabletop gaming. I mean, you could, and that would be great, and he would love it if we did that.
Mm-hmm. I mean,
Our whole basement is going to be that way, but
most of it.
So you can have too many games that way. You need to know what you have. You need to be able to keep it organized.
Which, like having that plan to control the collection a little bit. So we call anything from 25 to 50 titles a year.
Yeah.
Both in new games and expansions to games. Mm-hmm. So, very soon we'll be going through that. We'll probably actually put a video up about what we're calling out of the collection this year, because it seems like those videos do well on other channels. So we'll see how it does out here.
We'll need to put it up because there may be some titles this year I anticipate where one of us wants to call it and the other one's not so sure. So feedback.
Well, that's almost always.
That
Suzanne,
I don't want to get rid of it?
That you're not so sure about it. Yep. I'm a lot more decisive on it. You're a lot more like, I really did like that game.
Yeah.
It's hard to see them go, too, because board games are fairly expensive generally when you acquire them. If you buy them, if you're buying them new. And a lot of our games are bought new. But they don't, when you go to sell them, what is quite often the case is they're not.
Strategy.
Yeah, it's like we have some titles. Like I said, the StarCraft, the board game with the Brood War expansion. That's worth quite a bit of money right now. Battlestar Galactica, it's worth quite a bit of money right now. I have everything for that. I have every expansion ever printed for that game. I kind of wish we had the original boxes and we didn't throw some of the boxes out when we were trying to condense the space. But because that would add to its value. But we have everything. Like, and I've seen like Daybreak and a couple of the other expansions like going for ridiculous amounts of money. But then there's but most of those titles, like 800 ish titles, we probably have like most of it. We're lucky if the copies of most of those games are probably worth $5 right now. So $5 or $10. So they're not worth, like, board games generally are not worth a whole lot when
Yeah,
you go to resell them.
but so here's my thought right now is that if we spend, let's say, $60 on a board game, that the two of us
Mm-hmm.
both like have play 2 times even, that is cheaper than going out for like one night out just to dinner where we live
These
for a
days,
lot.
yeah. I mean, go or
and
go to the
not even
movies.
expensive. Yes, and so we don't do that. So that's kind of like us going on a date is getting
Yeah.
a game. So we can, hey, we can get a new board game every week.
We didn't. Yeah, probably not. Well, actually, we probably. We're
Instead of going
about
out to
every. If you
eat.
think about, there's 52 weeks a year. We grew the collection by
Yes.
almost 150 titles this
I know.
year. So we did.
Okay.
We almost doubled that.
Well, we can just stop going out to eat and buy more board games. All right,
maybe.
we need more land to build a bigger house.
Yeah, I keep telling you that. But so there are other things you can do. I mean, calling is obviously what you do in reaction to, hey, I've acquired too many games,
Yeah.
right? But
I mean,
there are being in the part of the reason. Yeah,
yeah.
I wouldn't say that we are content creators because we wanted to get more games.
no,
that
we're
was
doing this
certainly
because
not.
this is fun.
Well, yeah, I mean,
We like to talk
I mean,
about
Whiskey Dice
it.
has been. Whiskey Dice is like what 12 years old now, I think, since it was originally started. So
as a podcast,
as an audio show. So
Yeah.
it's.
I mean, I do know there are some people I know that do the for their board games the same thing I do a lot of times with my clothes. It's like one in, one out. So every time you acquire a new game, you need to get rid of one. So if you have full shelves and you don't have space,
Especially if you're really tight on space.
that is definitely a way to kind of cycle through games. And if you are not looking to get the newest games as soon as they come out, it's not that expensive to do that with some of the used games. You can get some great deals on used games.
Another strategy I've seen people use is I'm not going to buy another game until my shelf of opportunity is cleared.
Well, that didn't work for us very well.
So it's oftentimes one new game in, one game that was sitting there that needs to be played comes off. Yes, that is not our
We
table
tried
of
that.
opportunity is currently a leaning tower of Pisa. Any day now it may collapse. But
oh my gosh! Don't say that. That's not good. I'm looking over off camera because like where it would be.
Yeah, it's in the library. The door's closed,
But,
so you can't see it.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people that do that I've seen.
We were trying to do that, and then we had a whole bunch of crowdfunding that got shipped and came in as the pandemic delays were starting to be resolved, and that killed us.
That's been a factor. Of course, another thing that I've seen people do is things like the 10 by 10 challenges, where they pick 10. They start the year, they pick 10 board games that they're going to play 10 times. If you occupy, that's what 100 plays.
Yeah.
100 plays. We play. I mean, I play about 50 games a month, 50 to 60 games a month myself. Like, if I consumed 100 plays, that would definitely slow down my ability to play new titles.
Yeah, but I don't think that would, for us, that would not slow down your ability to acquire new titles.
True, but that shelf of opportunity, that table of opportunity would really collapse then.
Yes. So, I mean, I think that is a good way maybe to contain and also decide if you really like a game. If you played a game 10 times and you enjoyed it and you want to play it an 11th time, it's probably one to keep.
Another strategy too that you could do is, and this is one that I don't see a lot here in the U.S., but I think it's starting to become a little more popular, is joining like a board game club or a board game group that isn't necessarily playing in somebody's house, but it's playing at the game stores. Not only do the game stores have usually, like at least the game stores here, and most of the game stores I've been to across the country have some kind of game library
Yep.
at the store, but they also, like the club itself, the members of the club are always bringing titles that they're
Games.
acquiring
Yep.
to those meetups. So it's an opportunity for someone that's interested in board gaming and doesn't have a huge budget or doesn't have a lot of space or doesn't want to spend a lot of money on new games but still wants to play all those new titles to be able to go to those meetups, go to those board game cafes or whatever it is where that's happening. Like we have the board games and beer group that plays in a couple of
Mm-hmm.
different places here in town on
Yep.
like Tuesdays. I
We
know
have
there's the
our
board game
monthly.
group. Well, I'm sorry, outside of the people's
Oh.
houses.
Yeah.
So we have,
No.
oh yeah,
Our monthly
our
at the
monthly
game
one
store. Misty
you're right, at
Mountain.
Misty Mountain Games. There's the meetup that's at not Pegasus, Noble Night Games that I know of.
Yeah.
I
There's
think
several around
there's several around
in
town
the
in here in the
Madison
Madison
area.
area. So it's something you also that you can look at and look for in your area, not only as a way to meet new board gamers and maybe grow your board gaming community if you're having a hard time finding people to play, but also a way to keep that like FOMO of hey,
Yeah.
if I don't I'm not gonna get a chance to play the game because in reality, I mean I can't speak for you. You, the audience, but I can speak for us. A lot of games that we own are very lucky if they get two plays,
Yep. So that's another thing of like
and
if
then
you have can you have too many games where you're only playing each game only like once, so it's like learning every time you play it again, you're learning it because you're not playing them quickly enough.
yeah, I mean a good example
You
for
know,
well,
you're
there's a number of
it's like
good
a
like
first
On
time.
Mars is a really good example of that for us.
I'm
Um,
getting better at it now.
we
After
actually we
like
really
4
like
years or however
well
long
the
it's
first
been
game the
out.
first play it was like it was mechanically different and we were tired and whatever and so the first play didn't come off as
Oh,
good
we
but
didn't even get through it.
the second play we actually played through it, we had a blast with it, we actually enjoyed the game a ton and wanted to play it again, but every time that we want to get that game to the table it's like okay, we've got to sit down and relearn this game,
Yeah.
and that's a challenge. So it's hard to retable that game. Another game that I would think of that's maybe not hey I have to spend a lot of time relearning the rules, but it's a game that hey it got played like twice and then kind of lost the shine, and that's the Masters of the Universe game from Simon
Which
or
I
Come
still have
On.
not. Have I? Oh, I played it once.
Yeah, I think you did.
So I think with some of those, it's the more you do start playing them and you do remember different game mechanics, and so that's what's nice when games have are not completely new in their iconography from other games. Like when there's some similarity, it's easy to pick them up. But yeah, like on Mars, was one that hey, I need to read rules, and then I started finally getting it versus
It's
having it
it's
just taught to me. I mean, there's
there's
just a lot
it
of things you can do to
there's a lot of games that are like that. Like
mitigate.
so you need to if you're at the store and you're at the shelf and you're looking at like, hey, am I going to acquire this game or I'm going to back this Kickstarter?
Mhm.
That's a big question that you probably should ask yourself. And or is there a club or something else that I can go get my play or two of this game, discover if I really enjoy it, and then obviously like with so many games, Kickstarter like with so many games, they're limited print runs or they become very hard to obtain in retail after the initial release. I know there's that, oh my goodness, if I don't get that copy and I really love it, I'm not going to be
Yeah.
able to get it back to the table. But I find so few games that for the money we spend are really those games that I'm like, I really feel like I was missing out. Like Distilled, that would be a game that if I didn't own a
I love
copy, I would feel
Distilled.
very badly, feel very bad about it because I love
Yes.
that game and I want to get back to the
Yeah.
table. But
And for me, Terraforming Mars. And
yes,
all its variations, as much
um,
as I love or don't love
Terra
them.
Mystica, and
So,
go watch our top 10 video. It's probably going to be linked in the card up above now. You can find out about which games we really are excited about.
yeah.
But anyways,
So for you, Conesy, can you own too many games?
no,
All right.
I don't feel that way at all. I mean, I love board games. I mean, the answer though is got to be it's personal though. It's so
Yep.
my personal
So
opinion, no, I cannot own too many board games.
so for me,
We
yes,
have
you
plenty of
can.
room.
You can own too many games, even if you have plenty of room, because when maintaining your collection is more work and less enjoyable than actually playing the games, you have too many. We're not there yet,
I don't think we're gonna
but
get there.
no, but at some point, if trying to maintain and keep up with what we have is more work for me and less enjoyable for me than actually sitting down and playing a game,
I mean,
then
there's
it's too
certainly
many.
there might be a point where we get to our collection where we're like, okay, there's this is almost to the point of ridiculousness because the amount of space it takes up versus hey, I think this
So
is
yeah,
and I think I guess maybe you're right a little bit when you're talking about maintain because you're talking about the space it's taking up, how many shelves you got to have, how you're storing it, how
dusting
you're
them, cleaning them, they get dusty, people. They do, just like
will have to
anything
okay,
else.
well, larger property and a room that is dust free.
Oh, we need some winning lottery numbers then if we're going to do
Yeah.
that. So, but
Or
so in addition to wondering if you guys
if
have
you want to
a
finance this complex of game storage, please email us at hosts@whiskadice.com and we'll let you know how that
yeah.
happens, how you can
So,
make that happen.
I will say, in addition to hearing your comments and thoughts about is it possible to have too many games, I would also like to know how you, who have a collection of maybe more than 4 games, how you organize them. I'm not talking about do you put them on Kalex shelves or do you stick them in a closet, but like,
We
do you,
don't own a Calyx shelf ever. We've never owned or the Calyx equivalents.
yes, do you like, because I really need to organize ours in a different way, and we have some disagreements,
It's
conflicts of interest.
organized by player count roughly right now, except we're a little short on shelves.
So
Somebody needs to buy some.
I just want to know your opinions. It'll be a topic for another one of these banter times.
Anyways, I think that probably wraps it up for today's board games and coffee. My cup is run dry. I don't know about
And
yours.
mine's got just the little
So
bits.
hopefully you had a good time. Let us know what your questions are in the comments below, and of course, don't forget to subscribe and like this video. For more content from Wisco Dice, you can always check out our audio podcast, available anywhere you download podcasts today, or right here on YouTube. You can catch all of the episodes. They now show up here on YouTube. We do have a wonderful blog, of course, weekly Kickstart Monday done. So if you're looking for new games to add to your collection, you might want to check out that blog and see if there are games we mentioned that we call out of the plethora of games that really attract you. Until next time,
All right.
enjoy your coffee.
Enjoy it.
Hey there, it's Conesy. Thank you so much for watching. We put out videos weekly here at Wisco Dice. Check out our channel for more great videos and don't forget to subscribe. We also have more great content on our website at wiscodice.com. Of course, we do this all for you, the viewers. So please like the video if you enjoyed it, and thanks for watching.